to another episode of Desire to Inspire, your mama's favorite podcast, back in the home studio, in the transition studio.
I meant to ask you this before you get on. Are you supposed to be there?
Right now?
Yeah. I thought you were in Arizona.
Sunday.
For some reason, I thought you were going straight from Ohio to Arizona. Damn, bro, you're a little fucking traveler.
Yes, sir. So I'll be leaving again Sunday, be on the road, but going to try and facilitate these so that way we have the mic, we have the headphones, just so that way the quality is better.
You need to get me a fucking camera then.
Yeah,
got a new job and quality goes down.
Quality goes down. They ain't paying the same. But this is all in the midst of things that are going to be switching up based on like when you get here and stuff like that. So I kind of like that we're
5 weeks from this episode, bro.
Damn, that's crazy. I am looking forward to it. We had a call that motivated me and energized me just in the sense of like what we want to do when you're here, when we're together. And to even like, again, putting things in the phone that we'll actually be able to sit down and digest together, talk about and facilitate on those things. But it's coming and it's coming fast.
That it is.
Like me.
I blend in with my background.
You do blend in with your background.
It's kind of weird.
But because of that, and two, I'm pretty proud of myself. I don't know how this is possible because right now I feel the biggest I felt in probably like a year.
Weight-wise, like from like
weight-wise. Okay. Yeah, from just like a body feeling.
Bulky.
Just disgusting. Even though like I really haven't like slipped up on dieting. I mean, here and there, like I had to eat a couple Yalla's pizzas or pieces because I haven't had it in like a year.
Is it in Yalla's anymore?
No, I don't know the name, but it's kind of like the Jake. Like it'll always be the Jake. It'll never be whatever it is now. But I thought that I was going to weigh in heavier than when I went to Ohio, just because I've been on the go so much and stepped on the scale before I left. I was 171.3, which I've been hovering around like 173, 175 recently. But my goal is to get down to 160. So I was 171.
Just whenever.
Just whenever, within the next like month and a half, probably.
Okay.
So we're dialing in some things a little bit different than what I've done. But when I stepped on the scale today, I was 168.8, and that's without the morning, you know what? So I was like, oh, I will take that.
I actually had stopped weighing myself for a bit, and then when was the last playoff game? Was that Sunday?
Yeah.
So for some reason, I decided to weigh myself the day after that. And I went out for the game. It was in Denver. I'm like, I'm not going to be that much longer. They never been in finals. Let me go out. So I had some drinks, and I actually had like a chicken sandwich and fries too. So I don't know why I thought it was okay to weigh myself. But I've been hovering around like 198, 199. And I've just been maintaining. I haven't been trying to lose or trying to gain or anything. I got on the scale, I was like 203. I'm like, fuck.
Damn.
And then I got back on today. I was 190.80. And I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have got on after that. I'm good.
This is a prime example to all those motherfuckers out there that weigh themselves daily, that get in their head because it's like, oh my God, the scale went up 2 pounds. Oh my God, the scale didn't move. This is a prime fucking example of what Dylan just said, is that the days don't matter. It is the weeks and months that matter. Do not look at your weight in terms of days. Do not look at your weight in terms of weeks. Look at your weight in terms of months. If you are one of those folks that has to weigh themselves for some sort of reason, look at it from a month-to-month period, because you can fluctuate very easily 5 pounds, give or take either way. So what you can do,
your morning shit, like there's a lot of factors. And mine was a lot of things going on from the night before. So like I have been in habits where I'll weigh myself daily, but even then, like you just have to expect it to go both ways. Like you're gonna have a big drop one day and then a big gain. Like it's all over the place. But yeah, it's weekly, it's monthly, it's way more long term than that. You're not gonna do anything in a day.
Because you'll stress yourself out and you will make yourself anxious and panicked and everything under the sun if you are hard on yourself for what you weighed that day. And I've noticed too, personally, that when I'm going through the biggest shift body figure wise, I always feel the worst, even though I'm making progress. So it's just like something that happens with my body where I'm like, God, I feel like
body
shit.
Dysmorphia.
I don't know if I have that. I'm just saying, like when my body's making a change. Oh, yeah, that. Because when I'm making a change and doing stuff, I feel things I don't know, good and bad.
Yeah, I
Luckily
think
this
that
time it was good.
a lot of times you view yourself worse than you actually look. That's what body dysmorphia is. Like you see one thing than it actually is. But
yeah, I definitely got that.
I was proud of myself here recently. I've been trying to cut back on my caffeine intake, and I definitely need that.
Dude. Yeah.
But look, here we go.
Yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. So yesterday, I was getting dude, I'm talking like a pound, like a hangover headache. And I was like, have I been drinking enough to like be going through alcohol withdrawals right now? Like I was questioning myself. And today it clicked because I started to get it again, like 30 minutes before this. I'm like, it's caffeine.
Damn.
I've only had like 2 sips of this. Back to fucking regulation here. I'm fucking good.
That's wild.
I would have probably fought through it if it wasn't for this podcast, but there's no way I could have been in the right headspace to have a conversation with the way my head was feeling.
Well, I'm glad that you took one for the team.
This is the only one I have in the fridge too, because I've been trying to cut back like that. I would have had to pour up some fucking pre-workout. Nobody wants
That's called a problem, folks.
I know, but thank God I have this,
Yeah.
Only 200 milligrams.
Oh, yeah, no big deal. Shit.
And I already had
drink that right before bed.
Coffee. I could go to sleep after one of these.
Yeah, I know.
That's how I know I have a problem.
It's actually wild you say that because when I was home, I was talking to my family and they were talking about caffeine. And I was like, I could literally drink a pot of coffee before bed and just fall right asleep. I was like, it's, I compared it to those one athletic, what's that drink that you're sponsored by?
Athletic Brewing, like
Athletic Brewing. I was telling them that you introduced me to those, and I was like, it's kind of like that. Like I just love the taste of IPAs, and so like drinking those is perfect. I love the taste of coffee, but I don't do it for either of those effects. Like I don't need either.
You ever drink decaf?
Occasionally, yeah.
I never had it. It just tastes the same.
Pretty much. The decafs that I've always had taste a little heartier, I guess would be the word that I would use to describe it. Heartier. Darker.
That sounds like it'd be better. Okay. Well, I drink my coffee black anyway.
That's how I drink mine as well. There's something about the roast. It just like, I feel like it hits your taste buds more. I don't know if it's good or bad either. I don't hate it.
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm a pretty big placebo guy. I think you could trick me with a lot of things.
I'm going to do that with beers when you move down here now that you say that.
I believe that. Like if you like didn't tell me and like you were just pouring them in a glass or like if we went out and they had because some places have it on draft, like they had a non-alcoholic and you were ordering for me at the bar, I think I was drunk.
I think you're correct on that statement.
I think it'd be cool though. Cool experiment.
Yeah, it would be because like then you
but
just
now
like snap out.
It's in my head now.
Yeah.
Like, am I really drunk? let me drive and find out.
No, we're not going to condone that. You want to give an announcement?
What's the announcement?
What you're doing?
So actually I'm doing 2 things. That's what I wanted you to ask me about. Remember
perfect.
I texted you the other day?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am officially committing. This is what you're talking about, right? The marathon?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm officially committing to the Charlotte Marathon. It is, I want to say November 4th. Tone's going to do it. I think Sal's doing it. So 2 guys who did the Spartan race with us.
Not me. Maybe I'll surprise you.
I'm not. No, because I might need you for the next thing. Not
the
whole thing. So I'm also going to be aiming for a time goal this time, which I technically did last time, but like I wasn't as serious about it. But I'm trying to run 3:30, which would be a big PR for me, like 24 minutes.
3:20.
That's still 24 minutes of a PR, which is almost a minute per mile, which is a big shave off, especially when you consider like I haven't ran one since last January. But then the other thing I wanted you to ask me about was the 30 for 30. And so,
yes, sorry, I was focused. Wait, real quick, just so everybody knows, I am challenging because I feel like we're very easy on ourselves, and I get Dylan has his things he can say on why. See, this is what I was. Just pretend I'm not. Pretend I'm not here. Don't talk back during this.
You're the one talking.
Don't talk.
So you're definitely here. Let me pretend I'm not here.
Yes, pretend Pretend you're not here.
Okay.
So guys, a little secret. I have in my head the number that I want Dylan to achieve because I believe as humans, we put goals in our mind of what we think is hard. But I think those are actually easy to obtain because it's like, oh, we're confident we can do it. It's like the Spartan race. We knew we could do the 5 and 10K. So why not do the 20K that we did, 21K? So my goal for Dylan and Antonio and now Sal, even though I don't know Tone or Sal's numbers, is for them to do it in 3 hours and 20 minutes. So
Tone's is mine now because he said there's no way that he's going to let me run that pace and not try to keep up.
All right.
He's just going to try to stay with me.
So there it is. 320 is my goal for what I want Dylan to do. And again, just like I had a goal for the Spartan race, Dylan's like, I think we can do it in less. And guess what? We did. So that is why I set a goal for Dylan, because I want him to push himself a little bit more because this isn't his first rodeo.
That's what this next challenge is. So the 30 for 30. I turned 30 this year. Mm-hmm. So on my 30th birthday, I'm going to run 30 miles. And the challenging part of that is that it's less than 3 weeks after the marathon.
Oh.
So the marathon, I think, is the 4th. My birthday is the 21st. So I'm going to try to do 30 miles on my birthday. And this is where I'm not doing like an actual race or anything. I'm just going to run. So that's why I said I might need you. I'm going to have like different people come out for like different legs. If you want to come run a mile, if you want to come run 5 miles, whatever you guys want to come out, just at different times, I'm going to have people pop in and out. And I'm going to do 30 for 30.
All right. Is there within 12 hours, within the 24 of the day, what does this consist of?
No, I'm going straight. So
straight?
I'm going straight through, like whatever that takes. So like I would assume it's going to take me 5-ish hours, maybe 6, like depending like how beat up I am after this race. Because I am going to be pushing it for the race.
Yeah.
So it really depends. And I debated. I don't know what happened. It just kind of like jumped in my head. And I was like literally, bro, I was just sitting there one day and it was like 30 for 30. I was like, I should do it. And I'm like, it's too close to the race, this and that. And like I really like started to like bargain with myself of like reasons I shouldn't do it. And so that's why while I was bargaining with it, I texted you. Because I'm like, if he brings it up, it's probably going to be on the podcast. And then I'm going to have no choice but to fucking do it.
Yep. I like that. I
think it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, though. So I'm like, am I going to be home? Am I going to be in North Carolina? I don't know where I'm going to be.
Maybe we'll do a big Friendsgiving here.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because I want to do it in North Carolina. It'd be more ideal. It'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because if it's fucking snowing, I'm going to be pissed.
Yep.
But no matter where I'm at, I've already committed to it at this point. So it is what it is.
There we
I
go.
can drive home after, go home the next day if I really want to be home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hell yeah, I like
30.
that.
That's the goal.
We'll have to get the map laid out so that way we can set up those different people to come and join at different spots. Or even just be there to fucking cheer you on.
Yeah, I'll probably do like some kind of like a 5 to 8 to 10 mile loop, like something where like I can stop, like have like food or like because it's not gonna be a course, like there's not gonna be fuel along the way. So I want a spot where I can stop and grab whatever I need. If I need to like change socks, if I need to like do whatever. But yeah, I like that. I think that's an easy way to like people can easily support that when it's like, let me just come hop in for a mile or two and like. But if you're in for the first 3 miles, you could be in for the last few miles. Like there's so much like leeway for people to just kind of jump in and be involved with that one.
Yep. Damn.
But yeah.
All right.
That's my challenge for myself.
There it is. I like that. So with this more running focused, cardio focused activities that you're doing, how has, and this is something else we touched on, but how has training been right now and what are you kind of focusing on?
It's just been, training's honestly just been fun. Like I'm honestly not running any kind of a lifting program right now. I have like my normal split. Like, so I have 3 to sometimes 4 days, depending like how I'm feeling. But I have 3 days where like I know what body parts I'm hitting, but I don't have a plan. Just kind of going in there, doing whatever the fuck I want. Like it's targeted and like I'm doing it, but I'm more volume. Like, so I'm going for more of like, I don't want to say bodybuilder type training, but it really is because it's more volume and not as intense weight wise.
Yep.
That I benched yesterday. That was the first time I touched a barbell in probably like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Did a lot of machines, a lot of dumbbells, like a lot of running focus shit. So I think I finally become okay with like a runner identity.
I like it.
I was battling between the two for a while, where like I wanted to be strong, like I really wanted to push it, and now I'm like, I here's the way I look at it. I know I'm never gonna be the strongest dude in the world. Like it's not there already, and I'm like realistically within the next 5 years, like my testosterone is probably gonna decline naturally anyway. What are the odds of me getting that like exponentially stronger? You know what I mean? I have to
Hmm.
like have a higher baseline than I'm already at, but I think I could take it to a different level if I really focused on running. I think there I could do a lot more and push myself more. And I like to lift, but even the bulk, like it was wearing me out. Like I don't really
Yeah.
feel that way when I've ever trained for a marathon.
Yeah, that's which I think is a good thing, but I think actually I know that's where we differ a lot is that I love being inside of the gym, and that's where I find that passion, excitement like you do with running, which isn't a bad thing. They're both different styles. But I think it's important that we figure out, or we as humans figure out what that activity looks like for us. So that way we keep going and we keep working towards a goal, because this year you could be focusing on running, and next year you could have the mindset of that you want to get big again. But it's
Yeah.
just not losing that foundation in between. Luckily, it transitioned smoothly for you, and now you have things to look forward to keep you motivated. But it is finding that niche or that groove that's like, you know what, this is it. Even if it's this is it at that time, that's all that
Yeah.
matters. Keep doing it for that time until the time shifts, and then alter your lifestyle, which is something that I've been like focusing on a lot lately. Is just like in general, I have a post that I'm going to be posting today, and it's all along the lines of words or phrases that are misunderstood. And so, like you brought up addiction earlier. Another one is like right now, like the concrete, like right now in time. And then I obviously put the spin on it of right now, like DTI right now, all in. Other words are fitness, working out, being active, dieting, lifestyle, happiness. Because when you think of addiction, what do you think of?
I mean, it automatically goes straight to like drugs or like alcohol or like
Yeah.
something negative.
Yep. And so like I look at it in the sense, and heard this from somebody where they put it their spin on it, but I look at it in the sense of like addiction is such a bigger word. There's so much more meaning to it, but we as a society tie it to those negative events: drinking, drugs. Pretty much those two things are what first come to mind. But like, I'm addicted to working out. I'm addicted to being like active. Whether I
Yeah.
do it the best every single day or not, it doesn't matter. It's something that's in my life that I'm addicted to, that I know that I need it. Another thing could be like people are addicted to walking the beach. People are addicted to the way they eat. Like everybody has an addiction of something. Being on social media on their phone, whatever that addiction is, it doesn't always have to be a bad addiction. And so I took that a step further to then break those terms or words down, whatever I come up with over the next like week or two, to explain them a little bit more broad. So that way, when people hear them, or that way, when people think of dieting, they just don't think of like fad diets that are in right now.
Yeah.
And they don't think of dieting as something where you have to completely change your life, because it doesn't need to be that way. And then taking that a step further into like, how can you take those words and actually step into something? So, for instance, people hear working out, and a lot of times people are like, I don't want to work out because I don't want to go to a gym. I don't like going to a gym. Gyms suck. I'm not doing that. So, guess what? I'm not going to work out at all. And it's like, well, wait a second. Working out doesn't have to be going into a fixed structure building. Working out can be ordering bands off of Amazon and doing an exercise in your living room. Working out can be going on walks daily. Working out can be going on those runs. Working out can be using your body weight. Working out can be going to something that the city provides. Like I was doing at Mercy Health, that I'm going to make a post about that. Like they have a track with different stations that use all body weight stuff. You stretch, all of that stuff. So working out is such a different term, or such a big term for what that category actually entails. And so, how do we convey messages? How do we convey things to achieve with words that have such strong meaning? Personal training, strong meaning. Therapy, strong meaning. Dieting, strong meaning. Instead of taking it a step back and being like, okay, how can I fit these words into my lifestyle and tailor things to those words? Maybe that aren't the textbook definition, but they go along with it because they're achieving the end goal through those.
I didn't know if you were done or not. I didn't want to jump in. But yeah, I think it's all about like the negative connotation that people put on it. There's a lot of different ways that people can interpret things. And maybe some people do interpret it that way. But I feel like all the good things people refer to them as habits or routines. They don't addiction, I think it just itself has this negative connotation. I think that's where people struggle with it the most.
Yep. Yeah. And in my opinion, we need to be addicted in a lot of things in life just for ourselves. So going to the red light, going to sauna, cryo, like I would admit that I'm addicted to those things, but they're all of
I
those,
used to
like you
tweet
said.
about it all the time. I would, because
Really?
I know myself, I have a very addictive personality. But if you're aware of that and you can translate it into things that benefit you, then it's not bad to have an addictive personality. People look at that as being a negative thing, but it's really not. Like you said, if you could transfer it to the gym, if you could transfer it to personal growth, if you can transfer it to anything that's going to benefit your life, having an addictive personality is actually like a good thing for you. Like it's a leg up on other people who are just fucking skating through life.
Yep. Yeah. And I think it pushes you in a direction that nothing else can, because again, you could tie a, the word addiction to passion, to lifestyle, to habits, like all of these different words that could play a factor in addiction and defining that for yourself. So it's just been like kind of eye opening recently, like through having conversations. Even when I was home with 100 other people that were in to celebrate the same exact thing that I was there to celebrate, and telling them kind of my story and opening up for the first time to like family members that I know, but I'm not close to, about DTI and the message that we're like positioning and what we're trying to do in this world. Our CPA that I talked to today, he was like, tell me a little bit more about the business. Tell me what you guys do. And I started talking to him, and dude, he started opening up right away. Man, X, Y, and Z. I did this Ironman. It gave me this drive. It gave me this passion. It changed
Oh
my
yeah.
life for a year and a half. Like he started going into his story, and he was using the words like it inspired it. Did. And I'm like, bro, there's something there. Everyone that I fucking talk to is like, oh, I want to have the desire to inspire. I want this. I want that. Oh, I like what you guys are doing. And so I know the message is there. And so what I've been doing and why I'm like talking about this message is just like looking into deeper meanings, because when I'm talking to somebody, they'll tell me that working out is hard. Okay, well, why is working out hard? Working out should be easy. It shouldn't feel like a chore. Yeah, you should put in work where it,
Right.
might stress or strain muscles and this and that, but like what does working hard mean? And then they start diving in deep into that. Dieting is hard. I've tried it in the past. Well, what have you tried in the past to make dieting hard? Um, Having the passion is hard. Well, what do you mean by that? Like there's so many things that if you just like sit back and be like, well, why is this? Why is that? Can you explain a little bit more? Well, what'd you try in the past? Like all of these things come to life where it's not that any of those things were hard. It's that they were completely trying to uplift their life in a direction that they didn't want to go. They didn't want
Yeah.
to stop doing this all the time. They didn't want to take this out of their diet. They didn't want. So it's like, okay, that's fine. You don't want to go to the gym either? No, fuck that. Well, I do, but I don't want to do it yet. I'm scared. It's intimidating. Okay, that's fine. Let's start with this. And then I started explaining it to them, and they're like, wow, what you're saying is resonating so much. It's hitting, it's this and that. Like, I agree with what you're saying. And it just like fueled me, bro, to just start looking in and actually listening to conversations versus just fucking spewing and talking like I'm
Yeah.
doing right now.
I would like to know, like, I always like to dig into why are you intimidated by the gym? Like, there has to be a reason. And I think a lot of it comes down to like they're not educated on what movements they should be doing, how to use machines, this or that. But from someone who's been in a ton of types of gyms, most people who are intimidated, where do they go? Planet Fitness. They're gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, that's an easy place for me to go." Whatever. I found more assholes in Planet Fitness than I found anywhere else. Like any
I would
like
agree.
gym where like people are actually getting after it, no one is. First of all, every Planet, and this is why I think that is Planet Fitness. Like, there's a lot of people that are half-assing it, or like they're just there to be there, whatever. Like they feel like, and for some people, sure, like just getting in the door, you need to start there.
Mm-hmm.
But like other gyms, like there's really like experienced people. There's people getting after it, and it's usually like the bigger people in there, like the people you know have been in the gym for fucking 15 years. Those people are way more open to come and help you, to answer questions. Like they're not going to be the asshole because they've seen people through all the stages of the gym. Like they've been around long enough to see that there's people who fall off, but the people who stick with it, like they want to help those people. And if I ever see anybody like confused, I've never once wanted to talk shit about them or wanted to be like, yo, look at this fucking dude over here. Like, it's always
Yep.
like, let me go help this person out. Or like, if someone has, people ask me questions all the time, like, I'm more than happy to explain how something works. Like, this isn't a place where you need to feel like out of your, no one's there to make you feel out of place. Like, at least they shouldn't be, which is why I kind of have a problem with Planet Fitness. It's not like, I always say I never want to go there, but it's really for that reason. Like, it's not like a community based thing. Like, it's not cohesive. No one's there to help each other. It's all just kind of doing your own thing. But every other gym I go to, people are stopping between sets and talking to each other. Like, there's camaraderie within the gym, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I never looked at it from that sense, and I really like that you phrased it that way, because it's almost like taking whether it's a school district or it's a housing district. So for instance, like a really nice neighborhood versus a really bad one, or a very good school versus a very bad one. Like, there will always be those people within those communities that will have the shit that they need to say, that will try and act better than anybody else. But for the majority, if you are paying a premium price for something, or if you are living in a nicer area, if you are going to a better school, not only are the people more invested in that space or in that thing, but they also provide, like, I guess you could say, like, more top of the line things. So the clientele that comes in, the equipment that you're using, the people's purpose of why they're involved in that. And so you phrasing it like that actually makes me think that we have this all backwards, because we look at Planet Fitness as a cheap alternative to get into the gym. Judgment free zone. But yeah, you pay that $10, but I don't know one person that goes there that actually likes it. They only do it because it's convenient to their location, or that it's a cheap
on the flip
price.
Side, the gym I go to is only $10. Like, I go to a cheap gym, but they have extra amenities. They are tiered system, but I specifically only pay $10.
Yeah,
they have other things too. They have a pool, a sauna. Like, it's not like it's Planet Fitness. Because I do get what you're saying there, in terms of amenities and shit like that.
Yep. No, that's interesting, because like I have this book concept in my head of what I want to write one day for one of my books, and it's kind of like my evolution of the gym. So like, I don't know what your thoughts were of the gym when you first started going, but to me, I was one of those people, bro. I was extremely intimidated. I didn't want to go in there. I didn't want to step foot. I would do anything in my power to make up an excuse not to go in the weight room, even in high school, because I was always a little guy. I was always the guy that couldn't lift a lot. I was always the guy that they would be like, go and try this weight, and I couldn't do it. And then everyone would laugh. And I might play that up bigger in my head, but that's because I was living through it. So it was an insecurity of mine. And so the gym can be an extremely daunting and dark place without knowing who the gym actually is. And once you experience the gym and once you get comfortable, and this is why we preach, like, even if you go in there in the beginning for a minute and you step foot on a machine, you're doing better than you did yesterday. And if in 2 days you go in there and you're in there for 5 minutes, you did better than 2 days ago. And you just keep going in there with the understanding that you're learning things, that you don't know it all right now, but you have something set in stone that you can follow to be able to be comfortable, something that you can see the exercises being done, the machines being used, whatever it is. And then you keep building that confidence to go and go and go, even when you don't want to, that you'll start seeing the changes in the body. You'll start seeing the changes in your sleep, your attitude, the way you feel. And you're going to be like, damn, I kind of like this place. And then you have that breakthrough moment where you look in the mirror and you're like, holy fuck, like I look good. And then you'll have a little bit of a setback and you'll be like, I don't want to do this. And you just keep going back to it because there's something it does, which we both have been blessed to experience, but it releases those things that we need inside of our body to, in my opinion, operate on a day-to-day basis. Everybody knows, if they've been following this for a while, like I preach all the time that the gym saved my life. When I got through a super dark place, I used the gym as my therapy, my medicine, my everything in order to live and survive. And through that is how DTI was born, because Dylan was already on a path that he saw what physical health was doing to his body, and then combining my thoughts with his to get us to where we are now. But I just want, if there's an impact I can make on this world, it is to make people realize how important it is to go into the gym, even if it's 2 times a week, to experience that exertion that you give your body when you lift those weights, when you use those machines, or even step on a treadmill in the beginning to move your body in some new way, shape, or form than you're used to going through your day-to-day life.
Yeah, to touch on like the evolution of like the gym that you talked about. So you obviously didn't know me in high school, but up until that point, I had played soccer my entire life. I was the same height I am now. I was 140 pounds as a senior. So like I was also the little guy. I didn't want to go to the weight room. I would go to Planet Fitness like here and there, but like I would do the same thing. I'd make up excuses. And then I graduated, and that's when I started to put on weight because soccer was gone now. So now I was eating and I was drinking. And the only times, which kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, that I would go to the gym was when other people would invite me to the gym. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but they knew what they were doing. And so when I was a freshman in college, there was 2 dudes who would invite me. They lived in my dorm. They would invite me every day. I wouldn't go every day, but when I did, they weren't. It wasn't there to make fun of me. It wasn't there to be like, hey, let's get you to stop being a fat ass, whatever. Like it was like, let me show you how to do this, or let me show you this. And then the same thing, we had Brandon Fraser on the podcast, who was like the guy who really kickstarted it for me. He would take me every day. We'd get there at 5, and he had a guy that he followed who he did his workout plan. And we did it every day. I didn't know half of these fucking movements when I started. But it was never like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're doing. It was, let me show you how to do this. Let me explain to you why these things are this way. And like that's what sparked this entire thing. Like it's the only reason I do what I do today. So like it just goes back to, you need the people around you who are going to help you. And you might not know them now. Like I wasn't close with any of these people at the time. Like I built that in the gym. So if you go and you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to learn, but you're also like, gym bonds, like the people who work out together, it's totally different than like any other relationship, dude. Like you're like going through shit with this person every single day.
Yep. Yeah, I think of Josh and Marcus when I think of like when I really started to get into the gym, and couldn't thank them enough. And they probably don't even know that they were a driving force. They might, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about just getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and taking that leap to step in there, even if it is for that first 5 minutes. Because one thing that we need to remember in life is that without discomfort, there's no comfort that can be gained. There's no progress that can be gained. There's nothing that comes out of life without that discomfort. And you have to start thinking and looking at the gym as medicine. Start thinking of the gym as therapy. Start thinking of the gym as even a place like you pray. Like I've prayed at the gym. I've cried at the gym. I've done all of these things at the gym because it's helped me so much grow as a person, both physically and mentally. And so if we start changing the perspective that, oh, when I step in here, everybody's going to judge me. Everybody's going to be looking at me. Everybody's going to be everybody. I promise you're not the center of attention. You're the center of attention because you're putting yourself first, and you're making it seem as if everybody's doing or looking at you. That's not the case. You might have people look at you, give you a head nod. All they're doing is going through the motions. Every single person in that fucking gym, I don't give a shit what anybody says, is going through something in life, both good, bad, ugly. It doesn't matter. They are going through something in life, and they are in there for a reason. There's a reason people get up at 5 a.m. to work out. There's a reason that people go to the gym at 9:00 at night. There's a reason that they go at 12:00 in the afternoon, is because they are fighting something good or bad in their life, and they want to make sure that they keep moving forward. And the last thing they're worried about is what you look like, what you're wearing, what you're thinking about, because everybody is in there to get better. And if you have that mindset that everybody's in here doing the same thing I am, but just has a different story on why they're doing it, it'll be that much easier to step foot in there. And every single day you go for those little durations, it'll start building and compounding on each other. And next thing you know, you're going to be living in there 3 to 5 times a week. Bettering yourself, getting uncomfortable, pushing yourself, because every lift should have its own challenge. So every single day you should be doing something that's uncomfortable, because you're pushing your body, you're pushing your limits to be able to achieve that. And that's how you grow. That's how you flourish. And that's how you get over these life obstacles, humps, emotions, feelings that you have on a daily basis.
I used to be guilty of that. I used to think that all eyes were on me when I was in the gym. And the longer I go, the more I realize no one gives a fuck that I'm even there. People
Nope.
notice, like, if I miss a day, they're like, oh, where you been? But, like, I've never watched someone perform more than 1 or 2 reps at a time. No one's sitting there watching your fucking set, critiquing the way that you're doing something. It's not, they're so worried about their next set or getting their rest in or getting some more, like, they're focused on what they're doing. They don't give a fuck about you in the nicest way possible. They just don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about you.
And too, like when you're looking at that person doing a few sets, it's because you're in the midst of like recovering from yours that it's pretty much like a fog memory. It's not like you're sitting there like, oh, let me critique or analyze that set. Like, no, you're just looking around because you're passing time until you have to do your next set. But yeah, the gym, I wish it was prescribed more by doctors. I wish it was prescribed more by parents. I wish it was prescribed more by families. I wish it was prescribed more by friends. We're very blessed to have the friend group that we have, and we make sure and we hold each other accountable for that. And because of that, I'm thankful because there are those days where I see the pictures, even if it's just of a little sliver of a machine or a treadmill, that it's like, all right, cool, they went, I got to go, even though I don't want to get up this morning. So having that community, having that foundation of people around you to make you want to get better goes a long, long way. And if you don't have that community, if you don't have that support system that's pushing you, and if you don't know where to even start or begin, reach out to us, to somebody that you look up to, and get that response from them. So that way you have a starting point. It's not as daunting. It's not as scary when you have the person setting the right expectations for you in terms of what you have to accomplish based off of what goals you want to see or what you want to achieve.
Yep.
So that is all we have.
All I got. This is the longest it's ever taken me to finish an energy drink. I still have some left. So
there we go.
It's progress. It's progress, baby.
Good. Well, Dylan, send us out, baby.
Yeah. You're always so good at wrapping them up that I never know where to go from here. Because I'm like trying to think in my head, what am I going to summarize? We don't even have to summarize anything. Change your perspective on pretty much everything here. We talked about addiction. We talk about the gym. All of them have these negative connotations. Haven't read your post yet, but go check out Freddy's post because I'm sure it's going to go more into depth than this is. But other than that, 30 for 30. If you guys want to come out to North Carolina and run a couple miles with me, feel free. But if not, have the desire to inspire. Tell your mom Freddy loves her.
It's all